Hello. Just gonna double check. Are we good? We are good. Thank you so much for being here at this press conference for Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, out in cinemas on the 18th of October. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome some of the cast to the stage. Please give them a round of applause. First up we have Harris Dickinson, followed by Chutel Ejiofor, the wonderful Elle Fanning, ladies and gentlemen, Maleficent herself, Angelina Jolie, ladies and gentlemen, the brilliant Sam Riley, and also Ed Skrein. Hey Ed. Thank you, ladies and gents, for being here. I'm going to kick things off if that's all right, and I'm going to head down the line if that's okay. Harris, I want to start with you. We've had so many princes in our lifetime of storytelling. How did you find your prince and how you would portray him?
I think one of the main, one of the many reasons that I was excited about this is because I think with the sort of archetype of a Disney prince and the sort of stereotype of coming along and sort of saving the day, that it wasn't really there in this, and I think that was quite refreshing, and there was an opportunity to sort of open up the world with sort of Prince Philip, and I think he was just someone who was trying to find his voice a little bit and trying to figure out what it means to be a sort of ruler, and then I just felt really sort of lucky to join a really great ensemble and support a story that was fresh and bold and exciting, you know?
Yeah, it's brilliantly written, absolutely brilliant. Chutel, for you, what was the appeal to taking on this character?
Similar thing. I just felt that there was a lot there that was very rich. You know, with Connell, it was this idea about leadership as well in this community, in this sort of stressed, conflicted tribe, and what they were going through, and these really strong ideas in that area of the story about fear of the other and this and segregated identities and communities and the powers of integration, and all of these things were really present as I was reading it, and it just felt like in so many ways this story was uncovering all of these themes that are so relevant to us all, you know. So Connell was really just in the centre of that, and I was excited to join.
Is it good with wings? Elle, since we last saw Aurora, she has these wonderful qualities that we saw in the first film, but she's grown in so many ways as a person. How would you say she's kind of the growth of her from the last film to this film?
Yes, she has. I mean, 5 years have passed in her life, and she's now Queen of the Moors, and she has this, this new responsibility and new power, and she, like, Prince Philip, is kind of trying to figure out who she is as a ruler and how to use that power. But Aurora, her strength is her kindness, and also she stays very true to herself, which was something I wanted to keep in the film. She is soft and feminine, and she wants to be a wife and have babies, and there's a beautiful, very, very strong, so that's a very strong thing that isn't portrayed a lot on screen, I would say. I think like a lot of the princesses grow up and they're like, well, we're going to make her a strong princess and make her tough, so we're going to make her fight. And it's like, is that what being a strong woman means? Like, we just have to have a sword and have armor on and fight? It's like Aurora can do that in a different way in a pink dress, and it's beautiful that she keeps her softness and vulnerabilities. That's her strength. So.
Mm-hmm. Angelina, congratulations again on this extraordinary character, but I wanted to ask you about how important it is for you for the character and the film to have a message, but a message that's kind of learned through experience and time, really, in terms of the way the characters learn about their kind of journeys. Yes, I think we all have very complex characters, which is really nice, and not often the case in an ensemble. And the way we balance each other, learn from each other, and change over the years for some of us. And for Maleficent, yes, I loved the first one where we went back and said, well, we think of her as evil and dark, and first movie we asked why and went deeper in. And I think most women, most people have, aren't born with a certain hardness and aggression. Something happens along your life where you lose trust, you don't feel safe, and you start to fight in a different way, and you protect yourself in a different way. And then through having a child, she finds her softness again. But then there was a question in this of, well, she's not just soft and trying to be small and cover her horns and adjust. She is a fighter, and she is a creature, and she is all these other things, and is she allowed to be both? And can she find herself or just keep apologizing for that thing within her and stay small? And so she's on her own journey to find out what that means. So I think it has beautiful messages about finding your true self and being it, embracing others. And also one of my favorite themes is that family is not made of blood.
Yeah. Sam, talking about finding your true self, we know he really wants to be a bear. Dream. I love your character. He just brings this kind of, just the way he keeps Maleficent light, and he reminds her of certain things. It's a beautiful relationship to kind of watch. Is that fun to play with when you're filming, in terms of, this relationship between Deval and Maleficent?
Yeah, it is. I think we sort of tried to imagine what these two people have been up to for 6 years. He'd obviously not flown off.
A lot of strange ideas.
Yeah, we did. But it's sort of a little bit less the servant-mistress relationship this time. We become the parent of Aurora. But it's fun. It's nice to imagine he's grown a little bit of courage, and she listens to him sometimes.
He's a bit more important, it feels, as well.
Say that again?
A bit more important. You kind of...
Well, I always think I'm important, but it's what keeps me going.
Ed, what about for you? I mean, he's a really complex character in terms of, you can't quite work out whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, but for you, trying to find that and how you play it, and what motivates him, that you kind of tried to find?
I always try and operate in this grey area. If I'm playing a protagonist, I try and bring them to the dark side. If I'm playing an antagonist, I bring them to the light. And, for me, that was what I loved so much about the first Maleficent. But to have a character like Bora with, this incredible arc, I mean, this is the type of arc you imagine you have when you're number one on the call sheet in some independent movie that's been based and written around you, to step into the fantasy realm of Disney, and with everything that brings, to learn from this incredible caliber of actors and human beings, and to have this kind of character with such a full emotional narrative and arc. This is the dream character in so many ways, and I kind of feel like we're just scratching the surface. So it's like really exciting to explore Bora and his changing attitudes towards outside influences.
Right, thank you. Great, straight in before I even said who's got a question. That is good work. Gentleman right here, and then we'll get the lady in the red. Here we go. Hello, sir.
Hello, this is for Portugal, and it's for Angelina Jolie. This film talks about evil and good, and in a way with what things are happening in the world right now, in the real world. Can this film or this story give us some inspiration how to fight evil?
Well, I think it helps to maybe identify where some of the darkness is coming from and what is the true darkness. And really in this film, the Mistress of Evil is less Maleficent and more Queen Ingrid, who is someone who... I'm going to have a soundtrack during this answer, it's okay. Queen Ingrid is, when you see a leader like her who is so angry and so hostile and so much believes that the only way to survive is to destroy the other, we make it very clear in this film that she is afraid, she is weak, and she is ignorant. And that is why she is behaving that way, and that is why she is wrong. And that is why the leaders that need to take place, which would be Aurora's character in the future, are those who see the strength and diversity, appreciate environment, respect for each other, respect for themselves, and are more forward-thinking and have a different vision. So these are themes that many children, many people may see and may not really. It's not political. It's not trying to be. But I do think if in the end you're happy about the way the film ends and it feels right, I think that heads you in the right direction. I think for children it gives a nice guide.
Thank you. Making the way.
Hi, my name's Laura and I'm from Loose Lips. To Angelina and Elle. As a new mother, my baby is 3.5 months.
Congratulations.
Thank you. She's called Jemima. I love how, sorry, stupid new mum. I love how Disney's constantly reinventing itself and creating role models for young girls. How do you think Maleficent tackles this?
Being role models in the film.
Young girls.
Well, I think it's a few things. I think it's not just girls in the film, because we have strong women. We also have the character that is wrong in the film and has to be taken out is also a woman. But we show very diverse types of women between our characters. But also we have extraordinary men in the film, and I really want to press that point, because I think that so often, when a story is told to say this is a strong woman, she has to beat the man, or she has to be like the man, or she has to somehow not need the man. And we both very much need and love and learn from the men. And so I think that's also an important message for young girls, to find their own power, but to respect and learn from the men around them.
Thank you. Gentleman at the end there.
Hi, I'm with the Norwegian paper VG, and my question is also for Miss Jolie. What was it like working with Joachim Rønning, and why did you want to work with him in the first place? Had you seen Kon-Tiki, for instance?
Well, Disney was very excited about Joachim. And I think it's always interesting to work with different directors and have a new take on a film, since our first director made a beautiful film, and then to see new, fresh eyes. Does anybody else have thoughts on Joachim?
I admire it. I mean, it's not an easy task to sort of, take something on this scale with, and manage it all. And I think he did a great job. I love Kon-Tiki. I think it's a great film.
Thank you. More questions from our audience, please? Gentleman in the front here, please. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Dave. I report from my YouTube channel. Absolutely love the film. I thought you were all fantastic, and you all had really great characters, particularly for Al and Angelina. The first film, of course, was based on Sleeping Beauty, a very beloved, iconic film. Did you find coming back for a second round, where you both got to really explore different elements, different aspects of your characters, did you find you had more fun doing it, and did you find maybe there was a little less pressure in portraying the characters again, doing a completely new story, completely new take on the characters, in essence, basically?
I think for me, I definitely felt a real responsibility to do the second film, because in the first film, it was the first film that I'd ever done, kind of that scale. Probably only one I've done at this scale, honestly. But so many, young kids saw the film, and especially young girls would come up to me and say, "Oh, you're Aurora." They would look at me as the character, and I'd never had that with the character before. And so hearing that we would be doing a sequel, I felt a responsibility to those girls, for sure. And I was so excited to get to show Aurora as a young woman and grown up. Obviously in the first film, I was 14 when I did it. I was much younger, and Aurora still has those qualities, that she does, of kindness and innocence and sweetness that she embodies.
Certainly you.
I know, I got to be struck. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was so fun to come back. And I mean, especially the three of us, we were there in the beginning, and to get to come back and be reunited, I think, but also our relationships have changed and grown, because I'm 21 now and I'm older. So I wasn't the kid on set anymore. I really felt accepted on set in a way, like a part, especially with Michelle and Angelina. They looked at me. It was amazing. It was an amazing feeling, because I felt like they included me, like I was one of their peers, and that was a really special feeling to feel that way. Really nice.
Great, thank you. Lady in the front, please, if we can get a microphone here. Thanks. Any on this side?
Hi, first of all, I wanted to say that I think you're all great, and my question is for Angelina. She's my favourite actress, one of them, and also I do love Elle Fanning as well. Just wanted to make that clear.
Keep going.
But you've achieved so much in your life, and do you have any goals left for your future? I'm just wondering.
It's like the pressure.
Oh, yeah. I have a lot. I do. I feel. I love being an artist. I'm not sure that's the. Of course. But there are many other things. I'd like the other aspects of my work to take over my life a little bit more. So in the years ahead, and really, I just want to raise my children well. They're all at those very special ages where you want to not miss a moment and do your best to get it right before they're out in the world on their own and having to face everything. And you hope you get all the good stuff in. So that's my main focus. But I have some other crazy ideas for future things. We'll see what happens.
Please run for president.
I think we'd all like that, please. Can I ask a question? Because the film looks beautiful, and so much about it, even those little creatures that are the leaves on the trees that all kind of flutter off and all that kind of thing. It's just such tiny details. It's so beautiful. The reality of when you're filming, though, where are you and what have you seen or experienced of the world that you're in whilst you're filming it? All of you. Cheetah.
Yeah, I just think that the design of the film is so extraordinary, and I these vast sound stages that we were on, and every inch of them designed to completion, and then wrapped around in blue and green screen. And so I was very keen to sort of look and see, what everything was going to look like and what everything was going to feel like, and looking at these images and getting some idea, but nothing. I wasn't really prepared for the actual visual language of the film, and the scale of it and the ambition of it is really remarkable, and it was just sort of staggering to look at and to finally sort of see all fully rendered. An amazing achievement.
Yeah, even the colours, and when we arrive in your world, you kind of feel colder in the cinema. You know what I mean? While you're watching it, 'cause it's so beautifully kind of just takes you into that as well. It's incredible. Sorry, I'll just ask a question. Anyone on this lady there on the end, please.
Hi, Katie from CBS. Firstly, I want to say I really love the way the film builds up that original story in a really multi-dimensional way. I think it's fantastic, and I agree, all of your characters are really multi-dimensional. I was just wondering, the film has quite a happy ending, which is a Disney signature, but do you think that there is anywhere for this story to go in the future, even if it's just for your individual characters, how you imagine they would continue on? That's for all of you.
Three very wry smiles going across this.
Well, it's very unusual conversations. Some very Disney, some not so Disney.
Yeah. Where would you like it to go?
Somehow we have to get Chiwetel back. It's a magic. You can come back.
That's easy.
I think we have had lots of ideas. We'd like to be grandparents.
No pressure, guys.
I might be with the Dark Fae by then.
If anything happened to, There is. Okay.
Wow.
Sorry, you had to hear that now. So early on.
We spoke about different things during the film, so
Like Jerry Springer.
Like Ed's not even speaking about that. He's not even going to be quiet. I think there's lots of one of the things that's interesting is, without realizing it, we've hit the chapters of the growth of a woman, right? We've hit her from her birth and her christening, to her being a little girl, being a teenage girl, to now being a wife. And so, in a way, the chapters are following a few things, but one of them is how a woman grows and evolves. And so soon, it does make sense that now there's this chapter for Aurora as wife, mother, queen, and what is that? And then, what? And now we've met, and the Dark Fae are in. So what is the future for the Dark Fae, and do they return? And personally, I like the idea of getting out of England in the story, like basing England, but going into the world, because we have such a diverse. The Dark Fae represent the world, and so I would love to see them in the world and across the world. God knows what they're doing.
She says, I'm back. Location.
Location.
Any more questions from our audience, please? I have one for you, please, Angelina, because the way that you so kind of beautifully and delicately land. I mean, the way that just the presence and that kind of, does it take a lot of practice with the kind of the rope work? I don't even know if that's what it's called, but
yeah, they don't all look that
great. Elegantly, you kind of
they pick the nice ones.
It must take a lot of practice, though, to it's a mechanical part of the character, really.
It takes a second. Well, the guys know now. I mean, the wire work. It was actually fun for me because usually I'm the only one with horns flying, and then to watch everybody else and think, watch, you're about to break your horn off. And then you get the wire work, and your horns are hitting. It's just so many different funny things to think about. You nearly impaled me once flying.
Yeah. The one thing I learned with the wire work is it's all in the glutes. It's all in the bum. If you tense your bum and your core, then you're strong up there. And I'm not sure you guys expected to be talking about bums and sorry to take it there, but it was great fun. It was amazing.
Feels like the perfect place to end it, talking about bums, shall we? Thank you so much for your time and for being here to talk about this film. Congratulations again, and thank you for your questions, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for coming.
Please round of applause.